So that's worked for that row. And now what happens if we drag that down? Is it going to work? No, because what it's got is it's got the reference to row 2 and row 3. That's fine. But when that formula is copied down to the row below, it doesn't stay as 2 and 3. And it certainly doesn't become from all these 3 rows. Instead, what you get is the row 2, B2, B3 becomes B3, B4. So it's still 2 numbers, it's just the next 2 numbers down. And here, B4, B5. And the next row down, B5, B6. And the next row down, B6, B7. So that's not what we wanted. We wanted this cell to be the next 3 rows, we wanted this cell to be all these 4 rows, we wanted this cell to be these 5 rows, and that will be your running total. So I need an entirely new symbol to do it. And the way the symbol works is as follows. Basically, the row range will copy down unless you stop it. And the way you stop it is you click in front of the row indicator, which is 2. Welcome back to OKTech. Aaron here. It's lesson 5 or part 5 in this introductory series on Microsoft Excel, which is Microsoft's spreadsheet package for accountancy, finance, business data, scientific analysis, quantitative analysis, charts, statistics, and so forth. So far we've talked through a few topics, including Excel sheets, data, data types, navigation, simple introduction to formulas, and various things like sums and products and averages. In this talk, I'm just going to carry on talking about formulas. We just calculated at the end of the last one, just calculated how to do the product of sales prices and number of items sold, and then get an automatic sum for that at the bottom of a table. One thing I haven't shown you is how to do a cumulative sum. So we've done these sum formulas where we had ranges like the cell range B2 to C7, and that just simply added up all the numbers. You probably have come across cumulative sums in the past, and they're very useful if you've got, for example, you want to keep basically that's a running total. So if you want to see where you are, for example, in the course of a year, as you track from one month to the next, it's not only the grand total that you want, like this, at the end of the whole period, it's not the total of the entire year, it's the running total, or the cumulative total. And that will apply for example, you want to know what the first row is, what the first plus the second row is, what the first plus the second plus the third. And this would typically apply if you were measuring something like how you were doing in January, and then January plus February, and then January plus February plus March, and so on. And it would give you that running total as you go through the year of, for example, your cumulative sales, or your running total sales, or your cumulative profits, or your running total profits. So there's a way to do that, and it basically involves a change to how we do cell referencing. And instead of just referencing cells as we've got here, like B2 to C7, there's going to be a little trick, and I'll have to show you how that little trick works. I'll tell you so you know what it's done. I selected the whole of the sheet, and instead of it selecting, what I was intending to do was just delete it all, but I forgot that I was still inside the sum formula, so it assumed I was trying to put the cell range A1 to H14 actually into that sum formula, and it's run into a problem, which is quite an interesting problem, so it's worth me telling you anyway. It says circular reference warning, and if you look at it, if you think about it, that's true, because I've selected A1 to H14, which is all these cells, and inside these cells, one of those cells is actually this cell itself. So that's impossible. The computer can't work it out, because it would have to put this cell, which is the answer, into the function. So it would have to put the answer of the function inside the function, and it can't do it. So that's what the circular reference warning means. It means that the answer to that function actually would have to include the cell C9. It's actually part of this range, but C9 cell is supposed to be the answer. So that doesn't work. It says one or more formulas contain a circular reference and may not calculate. So that was due to my mistake. I selected the wrong region while I was still inside a function. I should have clicked away from the function, then selected the region, and now I'm going to press delete key, which will wipe all the data. Okay, it's a little bit irritating. Excel does this, and you'll run into this yourself. When you delete data, which all you need to do to delete data is press the select it and press the delete key. The thing it won't delete, unfortunately, is the formatting. So to do that, you select the range, you right click, you go to format cells, and you've got these tabs here, borders, none. If you click none, it will wipe all of those borders. So now you've got a clean spreadsheet again. Okay, so what's this business with the cumulative total then? Well, we know how to do the sum of all these, but how do we do the sum? So it's like this, it's like 1, and then it's like 1 plus 2, and then it's like 1 plus 2 plus 3, and then it's like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. The tricky part is that the actual number of numbers in the formula is growing. So we're going to need a special way. We've got one number there, now it's 2 numbers, now we've got 3 numbers, now we've got 4 numbers. So let's think, how would the sum formula work? We could try doing the sum from B2 to B2. That's just going to give you that cell. It's just the value 1, which is in cell B2. And what happens if we drag that down? Is it going to work? Click on it. No, it's not going to work, because what it's done is it's taken the rows 2, 2, and it said, okay, row 2, now we're going to go to row 3. I'll change those to 3s. So all you're getting is the value here, row 4, row 5, row 6. Okay, so what about if we were to try the sum from B2 to B3? That's what we want. We want the sum from B2 to B3. And you put the dollar sign. So it's B$2 colon B2. It's a new kind of cell reference. I haven't shown you the dollar symbol before, and this is what it will do. B$2 colon B2. Now what that dollar symbol does is it fixes it to be what's called a constant. So now that value 2 is a constant, meaning B2 will not change. The second B2 will change, because that doesn't have the dollar symbol in, so it's still a general reference. It's a variable, not a constant. So now let's copy it down this time. Okay, and what you see is the first one with the dollar has not changed, so it's now B$2 to B3, whereas the second one has changed because it's become B3, and then the next row B$2 to B4, the next row B$2 to B5. So basically what that means is it's cell B2 summed all the way to B5, cell B2 summed all the way to B6, and cell B2 summed all the way to B7. Final one, cell B2 summed all the way to B7. So that's how you make a cumulative sum. And here's just an example of that. So here we've got the amount you earned, the amount you spent. Okay, so now you want to do the cumulative ends. And it's the sum from the first month, which is January, so that's F3. And because it's going to be the sum from January all the way down, it's going to be $3, meaning you fix it as January all the way through. And it's the sum from that January to the final month, which in this case is January, but as you copy this formula down, the second F3 is going to become F4, F5, F6. So it will be the sum from January to February, the sum from January to February to March, and so on. So if you copy that down, so add on the 1,760. And it did a little trick there, so if I double clicked on that point, it copied it all the way down. And so you've got the final cumulative total for the whole year is 19035, and if you look in the formula, it's updated it from F$3 to F14, meaning the sum from January all the way to December. And you use that dollar as the trick to make it into a cumulative function. Okay, so in the next talk, I'll carry on with this table and we'll do some more calculations.